Okay, so we'll start information gathering. A quick recap of the tools we discussed yesterday. So there are two aspects of information gathering: passive and active. So yesterday we discussed a couple of tools used for passive information gathering, in which you don't directly hit the website or the server of the company. So one of them is Google itself, also known as Google Dorks. So what you do is we use Google as a tool for information gathering, and in the search bar, you type different things. For example, in URL gov.in, if I type this command, so what it will do is it will bring up the URLs with gov.in. Okay, this is one example. So along with it, I can say that show me the websites with URL gov.in and which have PDF file type. So file type PDF. So this will bring websites which have .gov.in and will bring up file type PDF documents from that website. So these are just a couple of checks that I have shown you. You can use this to search multiple things, and what might be the query or what might be the command for those different things. You can search it in Google Hacking Database. Okay, so we discussed this yesterday, but I'm just recapping a little bit for you. The second thing we discussed was whois.domaintools.com. So basically, we do Whois, but not just any Whois. We do it from Whois.domaintools because the other Whois don't give as much detail. So what this does is, let's say I want to find the details of a website or do the information gathering of a website. Let's say digiskills.pk. So this gives me a lot of details about the website. First of all, it shows me the servers and their names on which the website is hosted. So what can I observe? That the server on which DigiSkills website is hosted is du.edu.pk. So I can guess that this is probably some other institute or company as well with the name VU. I'm assuming that I don't know what is VU. I'm assuming that someone else is searching. We'll look at what edu is in a bit. Then it shows you the IP of that server. It shows you the location. If it was hosted on, let's say, GoDaddy or something, you might have seen US. Then it shows you the ASN. ASN is the body which handles domain and registration. You can see that this website is hosted with PTCL, Pakistan Telecommunication Company, which you can also say is the domain provider. Like there is an internet service provider, then there are domain providers, GoDaddy, PTCL, okay. You can see other links within the website. You can see other records, Whois records, from which this information was gathered. So why is this important? First of all, you get the IP, you get the location, you get the company or the hosting provider. And the third important thing is, you know the server on which the website is hosted, If let's say I don't find any vulnerabilities on this particular website, what I can do is try to know what other websites are hosted on this server, and if there is any vulnerability on the other websites, then I can probably bring down the server and hence bring down to my first website. So I did reverse server lookup or reverse NS lookup. You can also do this through a command in Windows. Just type NS lookup and then the website or the server IP, and it will show you the same details. But this is a GUI based, so it's easier to use. So what does this tell me? That there are two domains hosted on this website. One is digiskills.pk, the other is vu.pk. So if I browse vu.pk, so I see the website of Virtual University of Pakistan. So what I know is that Virtual University of Pakistan and DigiSkills are probably handled by the same IT team or something. So they are both interconnected. The third thing that we saw is a plugin. We simply search Webalizer. It's an extension. We download it and then we add it in Chrome. And once downloaded, if you don't see it, you click on extension, you will see it over here, and then you can pin it. Right now, it's already pinned. So what this does is, let's say, if I click on this, it will give me all the information related to that website. For example, the server it is hosted on, whether it's Apache, whether it's IIS, the technology it is built upon, the operating system running on the server, the database running on the website if there is any. What this does is it will tell me what I need to find the vulnerabilities for. For example, if this website is hosted on IIS, I'll search for vulnerabilities for IIS. If it was hosted on Apache, I'll search for vulnerabilities on Apache. Okay. Third thing uh, for information gathering is archive.org. So okay, the service is not responding for some reason, but what it does basically is, so I don't want to hit the website directly, but I still want to know, let's say, what technology it is running, or try to play with it in the input fields or guess different user ID passwords. Instead of going on that website, this you can say organization takes backup of different websites and puts it in their server. So if I browse the website through this, I am using that website through archive.org and not directly using it. So first thing is, this is still I can stay passive and they will not know. Second thing is, for example, there was a vulnerability in a website. Let's say there was an SQL injection and they mitigated it. They removed the vulnerability. But I want to practice it. For example, someone told me that XYZ website got hacked because of SQL injection and I want to test it. When I go to that website, it was fixed. So what I can do is go to archive.org, and if I can find a backup of that website that was, let's say, 1 month old, 2 months old when the vulnerability existed, I will browse that website that is old through archive.org and I can see what was the vulnerability or test it. Okay. Now, uh, let's look at the tool that we were talking about, which is Maltego. So we go into information gathering. Guys have registered?
Just one question. Information gathering is under the reconnaissance, isn't it?
Yes. The other word for information gathering is reconnaissance.
And we are doing at the moment passive one.
So a few tools that we discussed, for example, Whois.com and Google hacking, they are passive. To some extent, even archive.org because I'm not directly hitting the website. But when I use Weapalizer or when I use Maltego, which we are going to see, will directly hit the website. So these are examples of active information. Gathering.
Thank you.
Okay, so what Maltego does is it gives you different options, and it has pre-configured transforms. When I say transform, or what Maltego means by transform, is they have a set of information that they will bring when you provide it something. For example, if you give it a name or an email address, there is a transform for social engineering, and it will bring the details of that person from social engineering platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Uh, there is a transform called email addresses. So if you give company name, let's say LinkedIn.com or xyz.com, it will try or search the entire internet and bring the email addresses that it can find of people. It can be in hundreds, it can be in thousands that have at the rate LinkedIn or xyz.com there. So this is a very huge tool. So what we do is we go to Transform Hub, and so some of those transforms are free and some of them are paid. So, for example, this one, full contact, if I try to install it,
Which one are you using at the moment? Maltego? Is the case file free or is the CE free?
yeah, so it's if you just open it, it's the third option which says it's free community version or community edition.
1, 2, 3.
So apparently this transform was free, so it let me install it without asking for any money. Or let's say standard transforms, these are already installed in Maltego. That's why I don't see the install option, I see an install option. So some of the transforms already installed. Some are free, which you can install, and some are paid. This is one very important transform. Have I been found? So we will install this. Why? I'll discuss this in a bit. Okay, so this is where we get the transform that we want to use. Maybe there was a transform that I wanted to use, but it was not installed, so I install it. For example, have I been found is one important transform. It was not already installed, so I just installed it. Okay, this is the first thing we do. Then you go to machines and click on run machine. When you click on run machine, it will ask you the transform that you want to use. Okay, so let's say I will use have I been found. Let's say I will use footprint level 1. So footprint level 1 is basically footprinting or gathering information about a particular company or an email address. And there are different levels. By different levels, it means more and more details. So since we are, for learning purposes, and we want to see the result quickly, so we'll use footprint level 1. So we chose the transform. So now it will ask me the domain name. So let's say digiskills.pk. So it's searching the internet for the different things that were specified in footprinting level 1. So maybe in footprinting level 1, they specified find out the DNS, find out the email addresses, and maybe in level 2, they had mentioned that apart from the DNS, also find out the details of the other websites that are hosted on that server, etc. But let's see, in level 1, it's still running, so the information is still populating. So what does this show me? So this was the website. These are the different domains of it. So far we did not know. We were doing Whois, we were doing reverse NS lookup. We didn't know that there is also a subdomain lms.dgskills.pk, which we found through Maltego. So if we browse lms.dgskills.pk, so this is their login portal. But we didn't know this. We got to know this through Maltego. By the way, in Kali, the toolbar is on your left side. So if you're going to find out the running software, it's not on the bottom over here. Okay, so that is one detail that we found. So it also shows me which of the information is a website. For example, you can see the www. You can also see which information is a server. We also saw that in Whois, that there were 3 name servers, NS1, 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 NS2, NS3. And then you see an email address, shows you with an @ sign. So it tells me that these websites are hosted on this server and there is probably a redundant server whose IP is different. Like we saw in Whois, there was NS1, NS2, and NS3. So maybe this is NS1 and the other is NS2. So we see different IPs. And if we scroll down, it shows me the location of those servers. So we can see that one of the servers is hosted in Islamabad, the other is in Lahore. So apparently this is geo redundancy. And then it shows me a lot of other details as well. So it is showing that which service is being used through which service provider. Like we use in command prompt we use the trace route. So it tells me the different route it took. So this is sort of showing that information. Okay, so far we don't see any mention of virtual university because maybe footprinting level 1 was limited to showing this much detail. Okay, but let's say I do footprinting level 3. Did you guys run this on your own laptop?
Mine installed.
So first of all, you open Maltego, log in. You see that the transforms are there. I installed have I been pawned. Then you go to machine, then you do run machine. It will ask you to select the transform and then it will ask you for a domain. Any website. You can do footprinting for your company's website, for university's website. So, for example, in level 3, it's bringing more information about the mail servers. So now it brought me this vu.edu.pk, which it did not in level 1. So when it went to vu.edu.pk or within DigiSkills, there are links mentioned of other websites. So it's asking me, do I want information regarding those links as well? I don't want. The point is, this is a very powerful tool. You can do a lot of information gathering. And the best thing is, you don't need to use different, let's say, whois.com or Webalizer. I mean, Webalizer, yes, for technology, but let's say you don't want to search LinkedIn or other things to find the email addresses that are available. Just select level 2 or level 3. You put the company domain name, and it will bring you a lot of information in one platform and in a GUI interface. Yes, this is active information gathering.
I've just installed it. Where do you want me to go? Sorry.
So if we have just installed Maltego, first of all, you go to transforms, you go to transforms hub, you make sure the standard ones are already installed, and you want to, if you want to install others, for example, I installed have I been pawned. and then you go to machine, you go to run machine, and
Transfer. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Have I been?
and for example, let's say I ran one machine or one, you can say, scan, and this is where you can select it. This is where you can do the tabbing. This was the scan that I just ran. This one was the previous one. This is a blank scan. So you can see there's a lot of difference between footprinting level 1 and footprinting level 3. Earlier there was no mention of v.edu.tk, now there is v.edu.tk as well, and how they are related. And if I click on this, it will show me details of this particular entity on the right as well. What exactly it is, so it's telling me DNS, the name of it, etc. If I click on this, MX record for mail server. Okay. So I was talking about have I been font.
So you go to machine and run machine, right? Or new machine.
Yes, you go to run machine and then you select transform and then you the company domain. So have I been font basically is a website on which you go and you write your email address, and it has a database of all the password breaches that were done in the last few years. Let's say one password breach of T-Mobile was, let's say, in 2015. Let's say one password breach was of, let's say, recently of FBR. So all that data that got available on the internet, so someone collected all that data from different breaches, put it in one website, and if you write your email address or anyone else's email address, it will tell you whether that email address was included in one of those breaches or not. So then you can know that, let's say, if my own email address was ever, leaked in one of those breaches, if I should change my password.